where the homophobia comes from, if we go back. Can we put the blame squarely on people like Scott Lively and that conference and the evangelicals that have come in? Is it all to blame from them, or was it already there in Uganda?
I wouldn't put all the blame on the Christian conservatives or evangelicals or extremists. In my opinion, having lived in Uganda for all my life, yeah, I've seen levels of homophobia, and I would say that I think homophobia is just people are scared of what they don't know, and I've seen this in Uganda. I think because of our culture that people are so much afraid if you're going to talk about sex in public, and also because of the whole African culture whereby they don't want anything to go out of the norm, which our norm is heterosexuality. So when you talk about homosexuality, they see you as stepping out of the African norm. I don't want anything like that to happen. But I would say, in a way, again, going back to our own African cultures, homosexuality is something that was there. But there are certain areas in my culture, especially in my country, Uganda, that have been respected, and not approached. So when we, the activists, stepped out and started creating visibility for the LGBT movement, that was a problem. Because people did not want, this whole waking up of all this, talking about it. Because again, it involves, talking about sex and talking about sexuality, and I think Africans are not comfortable with that. And then, well, they were still trying to get in terms and deal with that, and like, people have come here, they have talked about women's rights, people have come here, they have talked about HIV, AIDS, and children's rights. And we all know that almost every person has a mother, every person has a sister. We know that many people in Uganda, their families have been affected by HIV, AIDS. And then who can say no that they have never heard of a homosexual person in their family or in their villages? So they're still getting to terms with understanding that. And then now, the Christian evangelicals come in and say, no, you cannot accept this. So it becomes a very big challenge when Ugandans who believe so much in Christianity, we have about 85% of the population Christian. Christianity has been indoctrinated in people's minds. It rotates around our politics, our economy, everything. So when a Christian comes in Uganda and says, don't embrace, don't accept, homosexuality is a Western agenda, so Ugandans immediately shift and turn to listen to the Christians. I would really say that the religious propaganda in my country has increased the homophobia. Although we had levels of homophobia in my country, but the religious propaganda has increased it so much.
Well, yeah, the colonial laws that was left over from the British.
Yes, because right from the start,
exactly.
the homophobia itself was introduced by the British colonialists who came in Uganda and made it illegal for people to engage in same-sex acts. And I keep asking Ugandans, so if there were no homosexuals, why would even the British be concerned to create such a law?